Hello all, this is James Johnson, aka Sulfur Blade, and we are looking at, like 10 days till the release of the Rise of Skywalker, the final part of the Disney Abomination trilogy. And, well, there's some things that we should probably talk about and get off, and at least some things I want to get off my chest. So, in the news currently, Daisy Ridley, who some of you might know as Rey, the Mary Sue of the show, has been under fire for supposedly making comments that make her look as if she is not aware of her white privilege. So, it's funny. This is really funny. This is the epitome of completely of how ironic this situation is. So this complete trilogy, this mess of 3 movies, has been completely about trying to force political agenda into one of the most storied franchises to ever grace the big screen. So Star Wars was a timeless classic that rose above silly stuff like politics. It was just great. And here we have Disney using it to try to promote political agenda under the new Lucas Arts division of Disney, led by Kathleen Kennedy, who us in the Star Wars fandom know as Darth Kennedy, the evil Sith Lord who has ruined Star Wars for all time. Kathleen Kennedy once said that the Force needs to be female. And that was the purpose of the last 3 movies, was to create a new female heroine, Rey, for a new generation of girls. So, at face value, that's actually very noble, and it's a good idea at face value. I was part of a generation of very lucky kids who got to grow up idolizing Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker. He was our hero. He was a person that we could look up to. He was, Luke Skywalker. There was nobody bigger than Luke Skywalker. That was, my hero growing up. And so it would have been really cool if little girls today could look up to Rey as being like their Luke Skywalker. Would have been awesome. But you can't do that when you write a shallow character that doesn't deserve being looked up to. Rey's character is an abomination. She was perfect from the moment she walked onto the screen and hasn't been able to do anything wrong. She's just the most powerful Jedi there ever was, and it's just because. It's not because she worked to become so. It's not because she tried to learn to become so. None of that. She's just a Mary Sue. But that's not her fault. That's not Daisy Ridley's fault that Disney wrote her as a Mary Sue. That is J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, and most importantly, Darth Kennedy. She is the number one person. If there's anyone that can shoulder the complete and utter blame for the travesty that is this Star Wars trilogy, it is her. She's the person that deserves the most ire in this. But I'm looking at quite a few pictures up here on my little collage. And I want to kind of talk about each one of them. I want to start with Hux, the guy up in the top right. General Hux. He is maybe the worst bad guy that's ever been portrayed in a Star Wars movie ever. The guy's a complete and total idiot. And guess what? He's white. He's white. He's a white male. And he's a blubbering idiot. So, think back in Star Wars. Do you ever remember seeing the commander of a Star Destroyer being an idiot? Do you ever remember the Grand Admiral of a fleet being a total moron? Do you ever remember anyone being completely incompetent? Even the semi-competent General, what was it, Veers? No, it wasn't Veers. Veers became a... I can't remember his name. But Vader used the chokehold and killed him, basically. He's like, you failed me for the last time, right? The Empire in the original trilogy was very competent. There were no idiots leading them. And the fact that they want to portray General Hux as being a complete moron, with the horrible humor that they put into these three movies. I mean, the humor in them have been so atrociously bad. How can you take any of this trilogy seriously when your bad guy, your General Hux, is so laughably, moronically stupid that he can't even attempt to instill the most minute amount of fear in the viewer? Vader, he instilled fear. The Emperor, he instilled fear. Tarkin, he instilled fear. Grand Admiral Thrawn, he instilled fear. General Veers instilled fear. Any competent Empire commander instilled fear. Hux doesn't instill any fear. None. Nada. Zilch. But let's move on to some of the other characters here. Let's look at, since we're on this topic of bad guys being poorly portrayed, let's look at Kylo Ren, or Ben Solo. Kylo Ren in these three movies has been nothing more than a whiny, prepubescent kid who happens to be force sensitive and happens to have gone over to the dark side. And his trip to the dark side wasn't very hard. They didn't, there was no... We saw no background about the difficulties that he went through in order to actually turn to the dark side. No. He just had a dream one day, and then his Uncle Luke Skywalker was standing over him as he was dreaming, and then his uncle, the greatest Jedi to ever live, Luke Skywalker, ignites his lightsaber and attempts to kill him in his sleep. The same Luke Skywalker that wouldn't give up on his father, wouldn't ignite his lightsaber against his father, Darth Vader, but will ignite his lightsaber over his unsuspecting nephew while he's sleeping. Kylo Ren never, ever was even remotely close to the quality of bad guy needed to push this Star Wars trilogy forward at all. His original mask looks stupid. It didn't instill any type of fear. When they took the mask off, it was even worse, because when you look at him and you see that he is this young, prepubescent, whiny brat, then you're like, oh my god, how am I supposed to fear this kid? I can't fear this guy. He's not scary. There's nothing scary about him. His lightsaber, his red lightsaber, was kind of cool. And he wears black, so, that's kind of foreboding. But that's it. Red lightsaber, black clothes does not make a scary, evil character. It helps if the character's actually scary and evil, but he's not. There's nothing scary and evil about this guy. So, when you have a trilogy whose primary bad guys, General Hux and Kylo Ren, are weak in the fear department, how are you supposed to make a great trilogy? You don't. Darth Vader was scary. He was foreboding. When he entered the screen, everybody knew it. Everybody's eyes were glued to what was going on. Nobody looked away when Darth Vader was on the screen. Nobody. Now let's move on to some of these other characters, right? Let's take a look at John Boyega's character. I don't even know his name in the movie because that's how irrelevant he is. He's one of the irrelevant new cast that seemed to have no purpose. He was a stormtrooper who decided to no longer be a stormtrooper. He decided to switch sides. Very noble of him. He takes off his mask and what do you know? There's a black man underneath the white stormtrooper mask. Whoa! Inclusivity! We have our chance to ding that bell of inclusivity, because that's the entire point that he's actually in this movie, is because he's a black man. I said it. The only reason he's in Star Wars is because he's a black man. That's right. That's why he's in Star Wars. So that they can represent the black man in the Star Wars trilogy. That's why he's here. God knows why he's here. His character hasn't developed. Why is his character taking up screen time? It never goes anywhere. What did he do in the last movie? Nothing of consequence. He went to a casino with the other inconsequential character and accomplished what? Nothing. Just screen time that took your attention away from characters that mattered. His character doesn't matter. His character is a complete distraction from the characters that do matter. Kylo Ren is a character that should have mattered, but never became scary because he was never on screen enough to even make him remotely look scary. There was no backstory. There was nothing about him. There was nothing to build him up. There was nothing to turn him into a Darth Vader-esque character, because there was no screen time available for Kylo Ren to become evil, or mean, or nasty, or even make Kylo Ren someone that should be feared. None. Just like there was no screen time to make Daisy Ridley's character Rey there, who should be this great role model for all these young women looking up to her as their new Luke Skywalker. There was no screen time to actually train her, to actually teach her how to use the Force. There was no screen time to develop any type of backstory on her. None. Because we have to throw in a black guy to do some random stuff. For what reason, we don't know, but we need to check that box. Black guy in movie. Great. Now, how about the next character who got a lot of flack, supposedly. Reporters claim that Miss Kelly Marie Tran, the young lady there between the stormtrooper outfit and the legendary Mark Hamill, a.k.a. Luke Skywalker, who's posed in the middle there, she was run off of social media because of us evil, racist white people who said she deserved no place in Star Wars. Well, if she did get that attack, it was probably well-founded, but not because she's Thai, not because she's Oriental, but because she's Thai and Oriental. And female. Wait, what did I just do there? But I said it wasn't because of that. No, Disney made it because of that. Disney, once again, checking a box. Female, Thai, Oriental, irrelevant character that doesn't matter. Taking screen time away from characters that do matter and frustrates the viewers. Did anyone enjoy the casino experience with John Boyega and Kelly Marie Tran? Did anyone enjoy that story arc of The Last Jedi? No. It took away from people we actually wanted to see. So, we're not being racist here. We're upset with the movie and the fact that her character isn't relevant to the movie. She was a character we didn't want in the movie because she took time away from characters we wanted to see. Now, that's nothing against her as a person. That's on the writers who wrote her so terribly that we, the viewers, didn't care about her character. She wasn't interesting. That's not on us, the viewers. That's on the writers. That's on the people who created this trash. It's their fault that we couldn't stand the time that she was on the big screen. I feel sorry for her that supposedly she got chased off of social media. And I'm glad to see that she's standing there shoulder to shoulder with Luke Skywalker and that that Mark Hamill's looking out for her, because she doesn't deserve that. Again, Daisy Ridley didn't deserve to be written as a Mary Sue, and John Boyega there, he didn't deserve to be the quote-unquote token black man. That's not on them. That's on the writers. That's on the directors who created this monstrosity. And now finally, let's look at Mr. Poe down in the bottom left corner. A white guy. So we got Hux up there, who's an idiot. White guy, bad guy. And now we have the white guy down in the bottom left corner who's supposedly a good guy, but who gets to take the brunt of the quote-unquote political messaging. So we have, in the last movie, what was it? Admiral Hulda slapping him and talking down to him about how he's just a typical how he's a typical man, you know. his character has been the embodiment of the political message here. So Rey is supposed to be the heroine of the new story, and Poe is just, again, a character that's in the movie for what reason, I still don't know. I don't know why Poe's in this movie, or is in any of these movies. He's just there. It's like he's Han Solo without a reason for being in the movie. So Han Solo always had a reason for being in the movie. He flew the Millennium Falcon, which Luke boarded with Obi-Wan, and they got caught by a Star Destroyer. Then Luke and Han and Chewie and Leia fight their way out of the detention center into the garbage area. You know, Han was relevant. Poe's never relevant. He's like the Han Solo character that gets slapped around by all the women on screen and has no real relevancy to the story. And then the last person pictured here, in the very center of all of this, is Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker. The hero of a generation of little boys whose hero was completely and totally destroyed by Walt Disney. So, I'm trying to understand what was the purpose of this trilogy. To create a new hero for girls to look up to? Well, they could have done that in Rey, but they sure the hell didn't. Or to destroy the hero that boys have looked up to for the last 20 or 30 years? Was it to destroy the men's heroes? The same way as we slap around Poe in the movie? It sure feels like this Star Wars trilogy is nothing but feminist propaganda. It sure feels like it's typical SJW Hollywood trying to force feed political bullshit down our throats. Now, there's stuff you need to know about the upcoming movie. The upcoming movie was so bad that they begged George Lucas to come and help save the last movie. And George did. George came in and he didn't have to. There was no love lost between Lucas and Disney. George openly called Disney white slavers. He openly admitted to Disney destroying his legacy. And Disney turned around and still asked him to come help them fix their mess. And he went in and he did. And all the changes and cuts and stuff that he did with J.J. Abrams, 90% of Lucas's efforts to try to fix this film were cut. Why even bother to ask George Lucas to come help you save this movie if Darth Kennedy and Jar Jar Abrams are just going to turn around and disregard everything he did to try to save the movie anyway? So, in that 90% of stuff that was cut, there was a lot of stuff with Mark Hamill's character of Luke Skywalker that would have helped to repair the damage that the last movie did to Luke Skywalker. But that's not going to be in this movie because we don't want to repair Luke Skywalker. The purpose of these 3 movies have been to kill off the original legends. They wanted to kill Luke Skywalker and turn him into a green milk drinking, murderous, lowlife hermit who lies to his best friends. That's who Luke Skywalker is now. He lied to Han Solo and his sister Leia about attempting to kill his nephew. He attempted to kill his nephew. He gave up on the Force. He gave up on being a Jedi. He drinks gross green milk, and he's become the most cynical, most useless Jedi to ever be. That is what has become of Luke Skywalker, the most hopeful, most non-cynical Jedi there ever was, who saved Darth Vader, brought Darth Vader back from the dark side. Luke Skywalker has become a laughingstock, has been ruined. Han Solo, killed by the prepubescent bad guy Kylo Ren. He killed his father, and he cried about it. Really made him look like a mean, tough bad guy there. Really? So we killed Luke. We killed Han. Now we're going to wipe C-3PO's memory. I've even heard that they might completely blow up the Millennium Falcon in this movie, taking out Lando and Chewie and gang. So what will be left? Leia's dead. Luke's dead. Han's dead. They'll all be dead by the end of this movie. And what will we have to look forward to? We will have more wonderful movies about the Mary Sue Rey, the woman that can do no wrong, and her merry band of stooges that we don't know why they're on the screen in the first place. They don't seem to have any reason to take up time that could be spent showing Rey or the bad guys. I don't get it. I don't get how Disney, a company worth billions and billions of dollars, can make a movie this bad. In fact, we already know the entire script of this movie. Let's see if I can summarize the movie for you so you don't have to waste your money going to the theater to see this crap. So, it's going to parrot The Return of the Jedi, because that's what J.J. Abrams likes to do. He likes to mimic movies. He mimicked Star Wars with his Force Awakens. Now he's going to mimic Return of the Jedi with this crap. There's going to be a couple of fights between Rey and Kylo. Kylo is going to go from being bad back to good. Her and Kylo are going to face her father, Emperor Palpatine, who's just magically come back to life because everything that Darth Vader did to save Luke and kill the Emperor and the entire redemption arc of Darth Vader doesn't fucking matter anymore. It's thrown right out the window because, surprise! Emperor Palpatine's back. He was never dead. Ha 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 ha. Vader died for nothing. The Chosen One? No. He's not the Chosen One. Mary Sue Ray is the Chosen One. Rey is going to eventually be the one to kill the Emperor, finishing the chosen arc that we all believe Darth Vader finished in The Return of the Jedi. Thus, taking 6 movies worth of canon and destroying them in the snap of a finger. The movies before Disney now matter not, and now Disney's movie is the only one that matters. Rey will be the chosen one. They'll go back to Tatooine, where she'll disassemble Leia's lightsaber and Luke's lightsaber and put them back together and create a new yellow lightsaber. Somebody at Luke's moisture farm will ask her who she is, and she'll say that, well, this will be the second time in the movie she's been asked who she was. The first time she wouldn't really have a good answer, and now this time she will answer that she is Rey Skywalker. Even though she knows she is Rey Palpatine, the granddaughter of Emperor Palpatine. But no, she'd rather somehow claim that she's a Skywalker because reasons. She got no training from Luke. Leia evidently finishes up her training through the use of being a Force ghost, which is just ridiculous because Leia never trained to be able to do training in the first place. But, you know, hey, we're Disney, we'll just make shit up as we go. Save your money. Don't go watch this bullshit. If I know I only kind of did the fast-forwarded version of the movie, but there's plenty of other people, other YouTubers you can go, and they will read you the entire script, line by line, of what the movie is, if you are interested to know just how bad this movie is. And it is bad. There's no point in seeing it. I mean, let's look at their last trailer. The last trailer, which wasn't supposed to be the last trailer because the trailer before that was supposed to be the last trailer, but they released another trailer because they're so desperate to try to get people to see this movie because they know it's going to be a flop, that they're releasing even more trailers, where we get to watch John Boyega's Stormtrooper character, the Stormtrooper who switched over to the rebellion, who changed sides, say the stupidest line ever in a trailer as one of the stormtroopers takes off with a jetpack. He says, "They fly now?" Yes, former stormtrooper, they fly now. They've been flying for about 30 years, and as a stormtrooper you would know that stormtroopers have access to jetpacks, but you'll make a completely stupid comment because that's supposed to be funny. They fly now is repeated several times in that trailer like it's funny, and it's not. It's the exact opposite of funny. It's cringy. That is the humor in these 3 movies. They have been completely cringy. They haven't been funny. They've been like somebody taking their fingernails and scraping them on a chalkboard and giggling. That's not funny. Anyway, so I think I've gotten most of what I wanted to get off of my chest here in regards to Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, where we finally finish the obliteration of everything that was old Star Wars. We finally destroy it all. And for what reason? So little girls can look up to Mary Sue Ray for the next 40 years, like we did with Luke? No, because she wasn't written anywhere near the quality that Luke was written. No little girl is going to look up to her. So, I don't know what the point of destroying Star Wars was. It's mind-boggling. Anyway, I'm James Johnson, aka Sulfur Blade. This is my content. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If so, please leave a like and subscribe. And until the next time, all, peace.